Alright, I'm back from vacation. I said I was gonna do a video about Stake Ranked Episode 3, and I was even contemplating doing it because I got home yesterday before, or the day before yesterday for most EU people. Um, I actually didn't stay the full week on my vacation. Came home early, but I was thinking about doing the video for Stake Ranked Episode 3, but I was just so tired, and I thought the video is not going to be that good. I couldn't even string together two coherent sentences, so I was like, I'll save it, and I'll just cover roster rumors, which I'm doing roster rumors today. This is the day after. So yeah, we're just gonna, or not roster rumors, but roster changes. Jeez, I'm sorry. You might be able to tell. I'm a little, time away has kind of made me react a bit slower. But MongolZ bench CobraZera, and they add Tikawak and Darkmeister. Again, I'm just getting into it instantly because I can tell I'm tired and it's not going to go too well. I think benching CobraZera. Oh, I didn't mention. Actually, no, I did. I did mention Mazzino left for BCG in my last roster changes discussion of roster changes video. And they benched CobraZera to make space for Darkmeister and Tikawak. Tikawak has been a fairly good prospect out of the Mongolian scene. A lot of people have been pretty high on this guy as a Mongolian player to keep an eye out for because he seriously does have some talent. Dorkmeister, I know nothing about. I'm pretty sure he played on the Mongols academy team, but I don't know how good he is. Tikawak is more of a closer, which I think they're trying to fill in. Um, they're trying to fill that role that Senzu kind of was because Senzu was like an opener, but he also like played a lot of late rounds because he got the chance to work and be been more of a playmaker. I think they're trying to do that with Tikawak, and I think Tikawak is a very skilled player. I also thought CobraZera wasn't a bad player, right? His raw aim was actually very good, and I even said CobraZera might have better raw aim than Senzu. It just Senzu's a better player, right? Senzu is a better player when you watch the demos, when you watch how he holds his map control, because I think that's something that was vital for MongolZ success. Was Senzu in a lot of spaces, he realistically shouldn't be able to hold the map control he does, but he's able to just get away with it because he's just like so mechanically good that even when his crosshair isn't in the correct spot, he's just gonna do some crazy things, right? He takes a lot of risk, Senzu in his play, and I don't think CobraZera has the awareness or the innate feel of the game that Senzu had, right? So I think that's why we didn't really get to see Senzu work or CobraZera work out in replacement of Senzu because he's not Senzu, right? He has the mechanical skill set that's somewhat similar, but it doesn't actually work out. I think Tikawak's a good pickup. Dorkmeister, no opinions. He's only played like 6 HLTV maps, I think, ever. So there's not enough footage on them. But I think they're decent replacements. Do I expect MongolZ to be a top 10 team now? Depends on how Tikawak and Darkmeister do, because you lost some pretty important pieces in Bazinho and benching CobraZera, even though he didn't work out. You could have brought back Senzu, but apparently Senzu doesn't want to join. So we'll see. MOUZ announced PR signing. Um, so doesn't look like they're going to get JL. It looks like they're keeping Zelix on. Um, I'm just gonna say this right now. I hate this move for a lot of reasons. One, PR has not been playing that well this year. PR I think has a 1.05 rating wise, but not even looking at rating wise, just comparing to what he was last year, he is not the same player at all. He doesn't look nearly as motivated. He looks like he tilts more. He looks like he gets more frustrated. Some of the decision making looks off. Mechanically, still great, um, but I don't like this. And on top of that, the amount of role clashes this fucking MOUZ team has, sorry, is just baffling that they just keep signing these types of players. Zelix is not an anchor support player. What did they make him do? Anchor support. JL was not an anchor support player. What did they make him do? Anchor support. Like, and now they have Spinks and Zershin. Zershin's picking up IGLing. Torji has been kind of mid. Sorry, he's been mid. He's not awful and unredeemable, but he's just been mid. And Spinks' numbers have dropped off ever since Zelix has come into the roster. And Zelix is just hard opening so Zershin can bait him. I hate this MOUZ roster. I might make an entire video just talking about why MOUZ is like one of the worst top 10 teams I've ever seen in terms of GMing. Some of the decisions they've been making are actual criminal offenses at this point. I am so frustrated with this team. Do I think PR should go to MOUZ? No, because in my opinion, they're just going to do the exact same thing they did with Zelix. Anchor support spots, you're playing the worst roles, you're going in first, you're getting baited by Zershin, by Spinks, Torji, doesn't matter. It's terrible. PR's not going to fix his team. JL wasn't going to fix his team. Zelix should, in my opinion, Spinks or Zershin, one of them needs to go. I've commented on that multiple times. One of them needs to go. Can't have both on the same team. Bad move. Moving on. Legacy sign Tri. This has been in talks for a while. This is just an upgrade. Tri is just a better opper than Satizin. And to mention this, Satizin joins Imperial. You basically took an opper who was on Imperial, then Passion UA, right? Who, in my opinion, is very good, and he speaks Portuguese, and I think mechanically he's excellent. And I think he has the potential to be a very good opera, right? A potential top 10 opera. Like he has that level, and especially within the Brazilian scene where the talent for operas are so hard to come by. I think Tri is definitely just better than Satizin. He's just an upgrade. Satizin going to Imperial, which is a tier 2 Brazilian squad that has been struggling for a while. I'm fine with it. I think Satizin is definitely better than the opera they had, which was Levi or whatever, Levy. Um, Satizin is definitely better than him in terms of experience, in terms of overall play. Apparently, he played some matches with Imperial already and was farming. So I think it's good moves across the board for both teams. I think both teams get a bit of something. Satizin obviously goes to a lower ranked team, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Focus signed Pody to replace Jorko. I think this is good. I think Pody has been fairly solid when he was on Ents. I think he is a more passive style opper that kind of. I think he replaces Jorko a bit more easier because I think Jorko was being kind of utilized wrong in Focus, where he was really passive. Like they were basically telling him, "Hey, on T side you're playing completely supportive, and on CT side you're not going to be able to call for all of your openers." Because the riflers, right? They have a lot of riflers who want to make some plays, right? Matios is omega aggressive. Volt wants to go for some plays, right? Even though he's a role player, he still wants to go for some plays. Volt has been kind of disappointing in this roster for me. I figured he would be pretty good with the experience he has, but it's been mostly just Banjo and Jorko kind of carrying this roster. Matios has been up and down. I like how he plays, but he's a bit of a stupid player. No offense to Matios. I like him, but he's a bit of a stupid player. And ZTR, I think is a good caller, but I don't know. I think tier 2 Swedish rosters could use him. And it sounds like Focus are not happy with him because he's apparently going back to GL on loan. So yeah, I think picking up Pody is good. The next one I want to talk about is Melo9 returns to Metasport's starting roster. This is massive for massive for Metasport because they actually have a very good player. Melo9 is unbelievable. If you don't believe me, check his stats. His stats are like 1.2, 1 for the year, farming tier 2. He's been absolutely dumpstering tier 2. And Melo9 is just an omega talent when you watch any of his demos. Probably should do a demo review of him because he's just so fun to watch. I love watching Melo9. Yes, he is passive. Yes, he is baity. But his decision making, his read of the game, his control of his crosshair, like these things are awesome. And having a player that is this good that Stanislaw can maybe mold and build into a more complete player because Stanislaw, very tenured, experienced IGL within the NA scene, right? He did things with EG, with Optic, with these rosters, right? And he was very good. Was he on Optic? I think he was on Optic. But he did things with those rosters, and he has a lot of experience that could rub off on Melo9, which I think is good. Forzy, I think is okay as an opper. I haven't watched enough of him, but the stats tell me he's pretty good, and he hasn't really fallen off despite this roster being kind of shit. No offense, the results have been bad. Plopsky, he's not the same as he once was, and Fiku is like a support flex player. He's solid. He was on OG for a long time. That's where most people remember Fiku because he was on OG for like almost 2 years or whatever. But I think this makes Metasport interesting. It sounds like Melo9 and his parents are actually fine with him coming back to Metasport, despite a lot of people wanting him to stay on Alliance. I still wanted him to stay on Alliance, but I'm fine with this move. I think this might make Metasport a top 30 potential top 30 team, right? Are there areas you need to upgrade in? Probably, but Melo 9 is good enough to get a team that's kind of underpowered, like up the rankings, just because his closing ability is so elite, right? Like his numbers are just insane for a tier 2. So you might make him like top 50. Realistically, top 50 I think is more likely. The other one I want to cover is BetClick parts ways with Bogdan. I think this is a bad move. Hades also left. I don't know if I covered this, but Hades left the roster. Dranku is benched. I think this is kind of a bad move because I think Bogdan for BetClick has done a lot. When you look at some of the prep and some of the um, players, I don't know if he's scouted or raised. I don't know if he scouted the players necessarily, but it seems like he's raised players like Jacob, like Hypex. I know people are gonna meme on Jacob, but Jacob was legitimately great in BetClick. Anybody who watched Jacob in BetClick before he got picked up by FaZe saw the potential that this guy had with his mechanics, right? He had some unbelievably good mechanics, right? His spray control was insane. His ability to flick and find headshots, how smooth, like he went from pre-aim to pre-aim, right? It was like super fast. He would go through his pre-aims, right? So those are some of the things I really liked about Jacob, and he brought that player up, right? Same thing with Hypex. Hypex has like an innate ability of like clutching rounds and like how he plays late round situations that I think is rather impressive for a player who is so young in his career. He's only 21. He's not, he hasn't played in pro CS for a long time. So I I don't know how to feel about Bogdan being departed. I think he was a big reason for BetClick's success and a lot of the pieces that started getting better. I think removing him is kind of a thing. I know some people are not going to care about this roster move, but I personally do because I think Bogdan is actually a good coach. Hampus returns on Johnny Speeds, and the other one is Draken returns to Johnny Speeds. If you don't know, Draken was the IGL op for Johnny Speeds before they picked up Lekro, because Draken took a step away. And then they also pick up Hampus, who was a former IGL with teams like Metasport. I think he was IGLing on NIP for a period. I'm not sure. But before that, I think he was just a very solid role player, from what I remember. Sorry, like, the place I remember watching Hampus the most was actually 500, the International 500 roster with Cypher, Volt, and Rainwaker. I actually really liked that roster, and I thought Hampus was um, pretty good on that roster in terms of a caller. Um, but yeah, I think these are interesting moves. They're going to start at like 0 VRS from what it looks like. Jakob is a talent. I've been talking about him. I've talked about him in previous videos. I think he's a talent who could go, who maybe deserves another call up, right? He's playing in like currently like tier 3. I think he deserves to be in tier 2 minimum. I think he's that good. And maybe a tier 1.5 team like Alliance, right, if they want to take a shot on him. Um, but yeah, I like these. I think these moves are decent if you're going to bench Freiburg, Knock, and Lekro. I think they're decent moves. The other one is AM Gaming Squad find new home. I mean, this is just a positive. I'm just, happy that this org has kind of like set up their players to give them like official time, right? They gave them actual official time. Um, because I'm pretty sure that Achieved Minds is what is it? It's an agency, right, for players and for them to get in contact with other teams. But they actually have their own CS team to keep the players in shape and get them bought and picked up by other rosters to like show that like, hey, they're still on the market. And in this case, the entire roster has been picked up. We don't know where they're going, but honestly, I think this is great, right? I think the fact that this like an organization did this for a group of players that they represent to give them more official time and to get them to the Draculans and let them play and show off their talent, right? Because in my opinion, some of the pieces here are okay, right? I think Altex is, Altex, Merrick, Multi, Keto, they're fine, right? I don't think they're necessarily great players. I don't think they're necessarily amazing players, but I think they're okay players within the tier 2, bottom of, or top of tier 3 range. I think they're actually fairly solid. Um, and yeah, I'm just glad that organization is doing this so we can get more investment within the scene because I think that's always good. And the final one is MOUZ NXT signed ESK and Mixer. These are small things. I don't really have opinions on them because I haven't watched them. But ESX is a French player and Mixer is Polish Chinese, which is really bizarre. Uh, Combination pairing, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's interesting. I just want to mention it because more NXT players are being, or MOUZ NXT players are being brought up. Um, but yeah, that's all I have for today, really. Some of the roster moves and roster changes are interesting. The PR MOUZ one, I might make an entire video on MOUZ just shitting on them because some of the moves they've been making are just awful. On top of that, Jimmy even had in an interview that he was going to come back if the rules made more sense. And in the case, Brolin was then brought back for the major when every single role fit Jimmy better because they were all the awful anchor spots. Like, it just didn't even make any sense to add Brolin back. And this is the thing, I like Brolin, but it just doesn't make sense, some of the moves. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to finally be uploading and talking about CS again, right? I was on vacation and just a small tourist town right within my province. And honestly, it was fun. I got some time in the sun. As I don't know if you can tell, probably can't tell on the webcam, but I got some time in the sun. Um, and yeah, I had fun. But I'm just glad. I just want to talk about CS. I just want to watch more CS. And yeah, I'll probably be doing the demo reviews again fairly soon. There's some interesting results. Stake Ranked Episode 3 might cover that. Might watch a Nilo demo. Just gonna give a spoiler. Nilo's really good. So yeah. Let me know what you guys want to see though. Thank you for watching.